Hi, my name's Len Nevin. I'm with real estate company called Real Broker. I have a team called Loyalty Home Group. We also manage short-term rental properties through our company, Happy Places. Um, One of the things I want to kind of go over today is I've been watching a lot of chatter online about, well, one, the increase in fees from Airbnb. I don't want to really go into that one today. We'll probably discuss that at another time, mainly because I'm using Hospitable as our software for property management, and we had to kick that in probably about 6 months ago, and we've worked out all the kinks pretty quick. So it's really not an issue for us anymore. It's just part of what we do. Today, I want to talk a little bit about identifying properties that would be good for a short-term rental. Now, I had a conversation with a client a couple days ago, and they're looking specifically in Franklin, Tennessee. Um, Now that's a newer market for us, but one of the good things is that I've, you know, I've been in the short-term rental space for 4 years now. We started personally with our own personal property up in Sedona, Arizona. If you're not familiar with that, go check it out. Beautiful, beautiful part of the country, beautiful part of the state in Arizona. But that's where we started. And obviously, we didn't hire a property manager. We jumped in. I'm in real estate sales. I've been in real estate sales since 2003. Hospitality is kind of synonymous with uh, real estate sales. I mean, you're glued to your phone, whether you like it or not. You're glued to your phone. Um, you're putting out fires. You're brown nosing a little bit. Let's just be honest. Those in real estate know what I mean. You eat a lot of crow, and that's what customer service is, right? We've all been that upset customer where we walk into the store and we're screaming and we're like, I'm mad. And the person's like, yep, you're right. And they have every right to turn around and tell you to go pound sand because you're being an idiot, and you're just elevated temperature. But their job is to eat a little bit of crow, try to see what they can do to make you happy, and go from there. I got plenty of stories on that. We can cover those in another time. But long story short, we manage, we've got about 20 properties that we've managed and manage right now, in Arizona, not just the Phoenix area, but in the White Mountains, in Sedona, so all over the state, that we're doing that. And we're expanding into the Nashville market. So having somebody talk to us about Franklin was a great opportunity for us. Already got all the licensing, everything taken care of for there. So if you're looking for a property manager in Franklin, be happy to help. But had to dig in a little bit. There's a lot of different things that you need to look at when you're looking at, is this a good opportunity? So let's jump into the screen here. Now I've got AirDNA open, and AirDNA is kind of the, I don't know, it's the go-to one, right? That's the one everybody knows about. It rates AirDNA rates Franklin as an 88, so that's a great score for a short-term rental market. Part of the reason for that is just, I mean, it's a high net worth location. The average sales price is a lot higher than most parts of the country. Um, you've got some amazingly beautiful homes. You've got some amazingly beautiful opportunities there. They do have some goofy rules in Franklin. So, like, just looking at this map, let's just scroll in. One thing that you got to understand is that inside of Franklin city limits, you have some rules. Outside of Franklin city limits, you've got Williamson County rules. And so I see a lot inside of city limits, and you can kind of like, where's city limits? Well, that's pretty easy. You can just Google it. Sorry, I'm blind. Gotta go glasses here. So Franklin, Tennessee, city limits map, right? So let's look at that. So let's see if this gives us the one that we're looking for. Is Google giving us the first result? Hopefully. waiting. Of course, that's not. Let's see, open in map viewer. All right, so let's take a look at this real quick and see where we go from that. All right, so there's your map, right? So this is Franklin city limits. Now, we were talking about a property that was in this general area. So there's a lot of, if you don't know Franklin, this area here is amazing. You've got some, like this neighborhood here, over here, is kind of like these massive, like it's gated, or maybe not gated, I don't know, but it's an estate style HOA community. But in this area, these are all non-HOA, outside of city limits, properties. And so it allows you the best of both worlds, where you've got a Franklin address. It's more of a county. It's Franklin. It's Williamson County with a Franklin address. So it gives you the best of both worlds, where you can jump in here and you can go 365 days a year in it. Inside of city limits, they've got some funky rules where it's something like you've got to, unless you're grandfathered in, I believe, but you've got to, I believe you got to be an in-town resident. I was reading up on this a couple days ago. I think you can only do 115 days a year at 21 days or less. So if you want to go and say, look, I need 365 days a year, then you need to be able to work your software to get larger groups of people who are looking for 22 days to 30 days, right? So you're looking for those bigger time spans on those, maybe your slower months, right? So like in the Phoenix market, we're in our winter in Phoenix right now. So we've got a couple of our properties where we've got people in there for 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, 2.5 weeks. We're kind of advertising for the bigger, longer haul. We've got people who are here for work, launching businesses, visiting family. Whereas during our peak season, we reduce that and we can go back to back to back to back. So that would be a good strategy for the Franklin market, is to take that same strategy and say, how do I, you go back to this map and you look at all these properties. Now these are all active Airbnbs inside of, inside of Franklin. And so you kind of look and you go back, okay, well, where was I talking about? Well, right up in here, look, these all have no restrictions right here. So if you can find an Airbnb up in here, you're in good shape. So already you're looking at it, you've got an 88 score. Another, way to look at that is, obviously I'm not logged in, so I'm just kind of showing you what you can get without paying for a subscription. It gives you some of these generic, maps, and it's absolutely the truth. Like February is basically nil for Franklin, according to this. Now, if you're looking for more data and you don't want to pay for it, I found there's this other site called B&B Calc. And so let's go here and let's do the same thing. Franklin. That's not Mesa. Whoops. There it is. Shoot. Was there a second ago? All right, so Franklin, Tennessee. We're just going to hit that market. And I've found this to be a pretty accurate one as well. Now they're trying to add some billing to it. But let's just see what it kind of gives us. So same type of thing. You've got the different sections of Franklin here, and it's this section that it's analyzing goes all the way down. It looks like does it go all the way down to Columbia? Oh, it goes all the way down in the southern part of the state. So if you know anything about the area, Franklin is more here, and then it goes over here. Okay, this is 412. Okay, yeah. So there's Columbia. So it's encompassing that whole section versus just the city, and it's giving you, some of these annual rev, occupancy rate. Now this is just averages, right? So you're looking at it going, well, I want to do a 5-bedroom. Well, if you're in town, you can only do a 4-bedroom. So that was a little thing that inside town limits in Franklin, 4 bedrooms. But let's go and let's just say, so I gotta unlock this now. This is something relatively new, but this still gives you a good idea, even without paying for the software, of what this can do. and then it's giving you some different amenities, nightly rates, things of that such. But the idea is that at the end of the day, you're going to have to pay for something, is what it boils down to. Let me see. There's this one more. There's one more calculator that I use, Rabu. I think I said that right. So we're going to go in here and we're going to do an Airbnb calculator, and it wants an address instead of, let me see if I can just type in city and see if it gives me that, to see if we can get an overall. You can see I've researched some of these ones here locally. All right, let's go to Zillow and just, like I said, I was looking at some stuff up in this area. So let's just grab, here's one for 900,000, right? So this is, double check, make sure there's no HOA. Now there's going to be some HOAs that allow it, but here's one, 899, 500, a little over half an acre, no HOA. So let's check this one out. It looks to be pretty nice. It's got nice white picket fences, classic hardwood floors. You could do a little bit here in upgrading in the kitchen, new flooring there. You do have garage space, attic space. You could do something cool in there. Lots of opportunities here. Big yard. You can have some fun with this. You've got the floor plan, so that's something to take a look at. But we're going to pop that address over into this thing, and let's see what it tells us. This is actually what I like using this one a lot. It's asking how many bedrooms, so let's just go back here. So it's 3-bedroom. Of course, sign up. All right, so annual projection on that one is saying 46,000 a year, based on 10 nearby Airbnbs within 3.5 miles. That seems a little low, just to be honest with you. I mean, if we zoom in here, and this is what I like about this one. So this one's averaging 308 a night. This one's averaging 140 a night, which that seems low. But let's take a look at the house and see why. $150 cleaning fee. It looks nice. I mean, it doesn't look. I like the table. So you got some definite options on this one. What I like about this is it's giving you the rating. You can view it on Airbnb. So this actually allows me to see all the pictures. So that's a 3-2, sleep 6. Guest favorite. So there could be some opportunity to, increase the nightly rate on that. Because let's just be honest, if your other people around you are getting through 263, 233, this is underperforming. So these are little things that you can do to look and go, am I performing or am I underperforming? And just by looking at a vicinity search here, this one's definitely underperforming compared to the other ones. And it's not like it's got 84 reviews, so it's not brand new, where it's still in that ramp up stage. So that's an opportunity for here. And then this goes to show you once again, what is my month to month going to look like? And these are the 2 worst months in Tennessee, right? This is when you get storms. So January and February, expect nothing. I mean, it's what it boils down to, is expect nothing in those months, and really ramp up here and maximize in here these months. So I even think that you should be able to get more than 4,600. I mean, you should be able to get 6,000 or 7,000, in my opinion. That one is bringing it down, in my personal opinion. That one's taking away from, like, you've got some of these other ones here, 377 a night, 308 a night. Yeah, look, 7,200 a month. This one's only getting 3,400 a month. But look at the occupancy rate, 37%. So these are the things where you've got to really analyze and understand what you're doing. And this is where we use programs like Price Labs. And so I'll jump into Price Labs for every one of our properties, and you know, probably honestly once a week I'm in there, and I probably spend about an hour to 2 hours per property once a week on each one of our properties, just tweaking, making sure, looking at all the competition, doing these types of things, making sure that, you know, are we undervalued? Because if one of our properties shows up, you know, with everything around it, 263, 308, and we're at 140, I got to do some stuff to make sure, you know, like this one's 21.29 a month for its rating, 50% occupancy. There's a point in time where people look at it and go, why is it so cheap, right? Like, why is that one so low? Like, if I'm choosing between multiple properties, my personal experience is that when I'm looking at properties, because we were just in Franklin a week ago, and we stayed in a couple Airbnbs, and as we were looking on Airbnb, we didn't choose the cheapest ones because there were some that looked really nice, and we were like, why is it so cheap? You know, people have that, they want value, they're willing to pay for value. It's not price. You know, if you're slow, you don't just drop your price. Sometimes you need to do some tweaks, add some value, show the value, move your pictures around to show those value pieces up front, and really get that out front. So this is just a quick glimpse of what our analysis looks like. Yeah, like I said, 21.29 a month. I mean, that just seems super low. That one should be competing with this one all day long. I mean, you've got the space for it. Let's see if I can view this one on Airbnb. Oh, come on, for real? Well, that's blanking out for a second. But I mean, I look at it. You should be. I mean, the cleaning fee is low, but nowadays that's all wrapped in there, so it shouldn't matter. This looks like a nice place, so that should be more what these people should expect in that area. That's low. That's low. And some of these are, obviously, this has got to be brand new. 7% occupancy. Like, why are some of these so low? Is my question. Because I know for a fact that you should be able to. These are decent looking places where you should be able to. You know, I would love to get in here and, you know, 23 reviews, 7% occupancy. That just seems really low. So if I go here and look at the dates, I mean, it's wide open right now. So for some reason it's not being booked. And was it 4-night minimum? That could be it. Let's see what the price is. That seems, yeah, $501 a night. That might be the problem. And I don't know. So these are the analysis that you need to do. Honestly, for me, Price Labs gives me more of what I'm looking to do. Feel free to reach out any questions. I mean, I could go on and on about this. We'll cover other topics, you know, other days. But I just wanted to give a quick kind of glimpse as to how to analyze property. You've obviously got to do more. Like, I prefer, like, if you're looking for a quick checklist, I prefer non-HOA properties. Just if you're looking for property, I prefer to find non-HOA properties because you're going to run into less issues. Not saying you're going to have zero issues, because you're still going to have neighbors who are going to follow, like, you know, city ordinances, things of that such. There are HOAs that have no issues with it whatsoever. So, you know, we can find those. That's not too big of a problem. We just have to make it's extra phone calls, it's extra work. The biggest issue with looking at HOA properties, to be honest with you, is, let's just say you look at this house and this one's for sale, and oh my gosh, like, this is everything I'm looking for. This is exactly what I want to invest in, and I want to buy this Airbnb, you know, this property and turn it Airbnb. You get all excited about it, then you call the HOA and they're like, oh yeah, minimum 30 days. And you're like, well, shoot, I can't do anything with that. I would stay clear personally away from 30-day minimum rental restrictions inside of an HOA. Yes, you can make money with a midterm rental, as they call them. You know, people talk about Furnished Finder. Furnished Finder is always ripping on Airbnb. My personal experience with Furnished Finder is that the people who are searching on there, bless their hearts, are looking for a $2,500 to $3,000, $4,000 a month. They're looking for a lower cost, monthly rental. And honestly, what you find out is you're like, I got a fully furnished house where I'm still paying the electric, the water, the whole 9 yards, and I'm charging the exact same amount that I would if I had a long-term renter in there. So would you rather charge 2,500 a month and pay all the utilities, or and do it month to month and have some gaps in there, or would you rather just put somebody in there 12 months and charge them 2,500 a month, and then they're in charge of electric, cable, internet, all that other stuff? I'd lean that way, put them in charge of it. So stick with ones, in my opinion, that are lower, minimum like 2 to 3 nights. I think Sedona minimum is 2 nights. We keep a lot of our properties at 3 nights. The 3-night rule for us eliminates a lot of parties and eliminates a lot of people who are just gonna all right, I'll come in on Thursday, come in on Friday, we'll party Friday night, Saturday, and then we'll leave on Sunday. By having that 3-night, they're not usually willing to pay for that extra night that they're not using. So the 3-night rule has given us a lot of comfort without having to, do a bunch of stuff. So that's all I got. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer anything for you, and we'll go from there. Thanks.